Hi everyone, it's nice to be back with you. It's been a while and it's already December. So this month our theme is stillness. And today I wanted to think about different kinds of stillness, even the kinds of stillness where you're not actually still in your body, but maybe you're still in your heart or your mind, helping your mind and your heart find that stillness and quiet inside. So for our Sunday Zoom calls, we have been doing several different kinds of sound meditations. Often we use the bell that I've used here in these videos with you. And another sound meditation that we've been doing is listening for all the different sounds that we can hear around us, in the room, in the house, and outside of our house, and slowly growing out our awareness of what sounds we hear, and even sometimes the sounds inside of our bodies. So let's take a minute to do that together, and I want you to put up a finger for every sound that you hear. Okay. I only heard 3 sounds. My house is very quiet right now. I wonder how many sounds you heard. So that is a fun way of just being still for just a minute. And you can do it outside. I bet you'll hear lots of sounds outside of birds and squirrels, cars and people. And you can do it anywhere you are, on a walk in the woods, or even just sitting at the dinner table. You can just stop for a minute and listen and see how many sounds you can hear. And there's a bunch of ways like that of being still where you don't have to sit perfectly still and do a particular kind of meditation or anything like that. You can just sit and notice just for a few breaths. You can listen to your breath is another way of being still for a moment. Or during a meal, you could stop and just focus on what your food tastes like and feels like in your mouth. So just take like 5 bites and just really the only thing you're doing is thinking about and feeling how it is to have food in your mouth. And another fun one is when I'm walking sometimes, or when I'm sitting or just standing, I stop and I feel all the places of my body that are touching the ground or touching the chair or touching the floor, and I just feel those places of contact. And it's really fun when you're walking because you can feel all the edges of your feet as they step over roots and rocks and cracks in the sidewalk. And if you just feel those places of contact, it's a really cool way of finding stillness even while you're walking and moving. So another way that I wanted to share with you today of finding stillness inside of your body, even if your body is moving, is a yoga practice that I really love. And it is called a moon salutation. So some of you might have heard of sun salutations. They're very popular, common flow in yoga of particular poses that are all kind of saluting the sun. And I wanted to take a minute to teach you one that is much less common, that is saluting the moon. And it's really nice for this time of year because it's one that brings in that element of quiet and calm and still, kind of like the moon shining at night, where everything is very calm and quiet. And it's that other side of the daytime, which is bright and busy often. So bringing in that piece of nighttime and moon time. So I hope that you get up with me and do this quick little yoga flow, celebrating the moon and the nighttime. All right, let's do it. Okay, let's do moon salutation. So as you'll see, we start as a big, wide, full moon. And then the poses slowly get smaller and smaller and smaller until we're a little new moon, like a little seed waiting in the darkness. And then, just like the moon, we start getting bigger and bigger and bigger until we come back up into a big full moon. So here it goes. Take a deep breath in and raise your arms up. This is our big full moon. We stretch to the side. We make the curves of the big full winter moon. We step our legs wide and our arms wide, and we can imagine we're creating the moon, or we're a five-pointed star shining in the darkness. And then we bend our knees and our elbows, and we sink down, a slightly smaller moon, getting a little bit smaller each night. This is also called goddess pose, and I always imagine myself connected straight down into the earth. And then we turn ourselves to the side. We point this foot out and our arms out, and we stretch over and then drop down. This is triangle pose. And it's also our moon getting a little bit smaller. We're almost to a half moon now. And then we bring ourselves down, farther down to the ground. So we've come down to the ground into runner's pose, as if you're going to start a race. And if you notice, we started way high up in a big open moon, and now we're coming down into smaller and smaller space as we move towards the new moon. So now we're going to spin forward, and we have some balancing poses. These are a little hard to balance. My heel is touching the ground here, and I'm squatting on this one here. And if you want, you can bring your hands to your center, or you can keep your hands down on the ground to hold you up. And this is getting down to a smaller and smaller moon until down here we're in our new moon pose. This is where the moon is dark, and we're in our little seed selves, just waiting in the darkness, waiting to sprout when the light and the warmth comes. Right here is a really good resting place. Now we're going to do the whole thing again, but on the other side. So we're going to put this foot out with our heel on the ground, squat on this foot, come into this small crescent moon, and then turn into runner's lunge as the moon starts to get bigger again in the sky. And now we'll stand up into triangle pose. You can see my feet for this one. This foot's pointed forward. Bend this knee a little bit. Put our hands out to the side, reach forward, and then drop down. Our moon is getting bigger. So, from our triangle pose, we stand up into an even bigger moon and sink down into goddess pose. This moon is sometimes called a gibbous moon, where it's between half and full, kind of like a big pregnant belly up in the sky. And then on a big in-breath, we stand up and we stretch our arms out and our legs out into a big, wide, beautiful, shining star. And then with another in-breath, we bring our legs and our hands together and bend to the sides, making the curve of the big full moon again. And now the moon has gone through a full cycle from full down into new and then back up into full. So I hope that you can practice that moon salutation a few times on your own. And afterwards, one of the most important parts is sitting still after all that movement, after you've moved your body and calmed your mind. Just either sit in a comfortable place or lie down all the way down on the ground and just see what comes. Because sometimes that's when the wise voice inside of you can speak, and that's when you have that quiet, you can listen. So I am interested in what comes through for you and what your inner voice has to say. So I hope you enjoy and have a wonderful day.
Quiet moment, quiet me, quiet in the midst of all I see, a swirling, changing world, but I am still. Quiet moment, quiet me, quiet in the midst of all I see, a swirling, changing world, but I am